Elite Facts presents
10 of the worst celebrity parents to ever exist. Eddie Murphy. Although he's the father of a number of children, Eddie Murphy denied that he was the father to one of his children for quite some time. In 2006, Mel B and Murphy were in a relationship in which Mel B got pregnant with Murphy's child. He didn't find out, however, until after their relationship ended. So in response to this, Murphy denied that she was pregnant with his child and demanded a DNA test when the child was born to prove that he was not the father. Well, guess what? They took the DNA test and it showed that Murphy was, in fact, the father. Even with the proof, Murphy continued to deny that he was the father to Mel B's child, Angel. It took 3 years for Murphy to finally acknowledge her as his daughter. Hulk Hogan. So in a way, you'd kind of think he would make a good role model for his daughter, right? You know, the whole take your vitamins, say your prayers, brother, and all that stuff. Well, we guess none of that matters now that his daughter Brooke is all grown up. So it turns out that not only did the Hulkster cheat on his wife, but he also slept with his daughter's best friend. Because of this, he and his wife are now divorced, and it has created a rift between him and the rest of his family. Hulkamania ran a little too wild there, brother. Joe Jackson. We all know about the Jackson 5, the biggest act of the 1960s that consisted of all the Jackson brothers that were old enough at the time to be a part of the musical act and was managed by their father, Joe Jackson. Well, although they were a huge success, it was said to be a completely miserable experience behind closed doors. Members of the Jackson 5 came out individually during the 1980s, stating that Joe Jackson used to beat them to keep them all in line and also distance himself from his kids by telling them to not call him Dad, but instead call him Joe. Michael Jackson himself stated that during rehearsals, Joe would sit in a chair holding a belt in his hand, ready to hit whoever messes up. That is some disgusting parenting right there. Kate Moss. So it may come as a surprise to some of you that Kate Moss does have a child. It's kind of hard to believe due to her single woman lifestyle, but she does indeed have a child. Now, putting the fact that she's always traveling due to her line of work and not being able to look after her child full-time to one side, she isn't exactly a great role model. The reason we're saying this is because she's not only been caught with cocaine, but she also decided that it was a good idea to leave her child with a drug-addicted ex-boyfriend. It must be said, however, that she has improved as a guardian since then. Alec Baldwin. So on this list, you're probably noticing that most of the celebrities mentioned either neglect their children or are just irresponsible with their kids. Well, Alec Baldwin is probably one of the worst on this list. So in 2007, Baldwin and his wife at the time, Kim Basinger, were going through a pretty horrible divorce, leaving their daughter, Ireland, in the middle of the whole awkward situation. Well, during this time, Baldwin left a pretty disgusting message on her answering machine directed at his daughter, stating that she was a thoughtless little pig. This act was so disgusting that a judge temporarily banned Baldwin from being in contact with his daughter. Kris Jenner. So this is who we have to blame for all that Kardashian nonsense. It has been reported that the reason the Kardashian family is so overexposed to the media is because Kris Jenner peer pressured the entire family into signing contracts for endorsement deals, as well as even convincing her own daughter Kim Kardashian to pose nude for Playboy in 2007, even though she was having second thoughts about doing so. And on top of all this, it's also rumored that Kris is the reason for Kim's sex tape being leaked to the public. What mother does that? Courtney Love. So after Kurt Cobain overdosed back in 1993, you'd think she'd get her act together and stop using altogether, right? Well, it turns out Courtney Love had used heroin while pregnant with her daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, back in 1992, which led to both Cobain and Love losing custody of her for a short period of time. In 2003, when Frances was only 11 years old, she witnessed her mother overdose on OxyContin, and in 2009, she filed a restraining order against her mother after getting into a physical fight with her. Jade Barrymore. It is a miracle that Drew Barrymore survived her mother's parenting. Jade Barrymore, who was famous for posing for Playboy, was reported to have been taking her infant daughter Drew to a nightclub by the name of Studio 54 before she could even walk. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, it's been reported that Drew had her first drink at the age of 9 and had her first use of cocaine at the age of 13 in that very same club. Thank God she turned out all right. Dina Lohan. So this is who we have to blame for Lindsay Lohan. Because of Dina, this is why Lindsay is an uncontrollable party animal. It's been reported that Dina was the one who introduced Lindsay to partying before the age of 21. As time went on, Lindsay's behavior got more and more out of hand. And of course, when people started to point the finger at Dina, she immediately went on to blame the media for Lindsay's antics. It's funny that she blames the media, considering Dina was the one who brought a camera crew with her to visit her daughter in rehab. Britney Spears. What more can really be said about Britney Spears? All the jokes have been made and her career is essentially over at this point. Well, how about the fact that she is an absolutely terrible mother? Not only has she put her child in danger by driving with her son on her lap, she is so terrible that she somehow lost custody of him to her ex-boyfriend and clueless wannabe rapper K-Fed. You know you've hit rock bottom when he's considered a more suitable parent than you are.
Thanks for watching another amazing video, folks. Subscribe for more from Elite Facts.